Hello everyone, and welcome back to another Mirror Dungeon solo video. Today we'll be using none other than Blade Lineage Sinclair. Being a Blade Lineage identity, it's only natural that he would use poise. Having pretty decent generation, he can reliably maintain it on his own. However, the main reason for this is when he wins a clash with his skill 2, it won't consume any poise count. This means that his poise reliability is ultimately decided by the enemy's skills. If you can't clash, it can very easily fall off. I would argue that this makes him actually stronger when he's alone, as giving him more skill slots makes him clash more using less poise. He's a pretty simple identity overall. Gain poise, crit enemy, they die. The only aspect of his kit that makes him a slightly difficult solo is the fact that his skills 1 and 2 don't roll very high, and he's a counter identity, so stalling to heal is off the table. Support passives are pretty average, nothing to really talk about except for G Corp Gregor, whose passive is more reliable than Base or Chef when it comes to counter identities. To start the run, we choose the cigarette holder to give better clashing power, and the old wooden doll. We choose Flat Broke Gamblers as our first floor, and find Eclipse of Scarlet Moths pretty early on. Any floor that isn't the Unloving or Automated Factory are instantly more difficult as they have regular fights for the boss, which means more skills slots and more damage. For this floor in particular, it's a little difficult as the enemies possess pierce skills which we are weak to, but since they are also weak to slash damage, it's more than a fair fight. We have to get a little lucky with how many pierce skills they use, any more than 2 and it's a pretty much instant reset. Thankfully, we are using a Sinclair identity, which means we have access to the Lantern Ego, so when we are inflicted with paralysis, we can take advantage by corroding it and healing back to max HP. Making it out of the first few turns signals victory as we can easily take out each enemy one by one afterwards.
공격 능력 평가? 양호.
제대로 꽂혔는데. 직원들이 유리한 조건에 있습니다. 소림이 없도록. 동랑님이 말씀하시길 이번 전투가 성공적으로 끝난다면 근사한 회식에 데려가 주신다고 하더군요. S사 툭불 배워냈어요.
For our reward, we take Nebulizer, which when fully upgraded helps keep Cigarette Lighter active from turn 1. The second floor we choose is Hell's Chicken, and at the first shop we pick up Carmilla, Child Within a Flask, and Tango Marinade. We also get Grey Coat and Blue Zippo Lighter from encounters and head off to face Papa Bungie. He's more than a little threatening as we're weak to wrath damage, but clashing with him is more than enough to prevent him from doing too much. Having a healing ego is always the most useful utility any identity can have, so using Lantern is more than enough to keep us from staggering. Papa Bungie cannot stand up to our sheer damage potential as we effortlessly cut through him, preparing him to become a delicious 5-course meal.
방금의 일격은 매우 좋았습니다. 제가 만약
Taking Endorphin Kit as our reward, and receiving Bloody Gadget as a bonus, we head into Miracle in District 20 for the third floor. Honestly, this floor is a massive skip. Absolutely nothing happens here. We don't get any useful ego gifts, and for the final boss, we just have a long, normal fight. I don't know why they have this as a potential boss for this floor. It should just always be Santata, because otherwise it's incredibly boring. I mean, his fight too is pretty boring, but at least he's a big boss character. For the reward, we pick up the pom-pom hat and get the huge gift sack, which is an absurdly good ego gift for soloing, giving 2 permanent protection. For the fourth floor, we choose Trickled Sanguine Blood, picking up Illusory Hunt, Devil's Snare, and Lithograph at the shop. Finding Ancient Effigy and fusing Finifugality, we head into the boss against Fairy Longlegs. The scariest part about him is the amount of bleed he can potentially inflict, but with him only having 4 active skill slots at a time, The stack quickly falls off by the time we have enough skills to start clashing effectively. Just like any other boss, as long as you can survive the first few turns, he's no problem. Despite Sinclair's less than stellar base clash power, all of the poise gifts help boost it enough to be considered average rolls. And with that, we are able to take out very long legs.
오케이, 작전 지역 진입 확인했어.
네, 입감 양호합니다.
망설임이 없도록. 나무와 함께 베어 넘겨드리죠.
공격 능력 평가? 양호.
제대로 고쳐주고. 망설임이 없도록. 할 수 있겠죠?
쨍그랑 보이가 조각냈어. 계속해도 돼.
방금 부숴버린 보이더게
망설임이 없도록. 망설임이 없도록.
배워냈어요.
For the final floor, we choose Pitiful Envy, where we finally get an extra skill 3 and Wound Clarid. It's good to note that if you solo this floor, the focused encounters are almost entirely the middle.
능숙한 편은 아닙니다.
I don't know for a fact if that's true or not, but I ran 3 of them and they were all the middle. The middle fight is bugged, and it has been for a few months now from what I can tell, with it not playing any music whatsoever for the first half of the fight. I don't know why, but this is the only fight where there's no music. It's super weird and kind of eerie. Ultimately though, the middle is super easy and consistent. With all of our buffs, the debuffs inflicted don't matter that much, and with them being resistant to our damage, we can actually whittle them down to a point where they almost never use their scary skills. By the time they do, they're on the verge of being staggered. They're pretty easy, all things considered, but I wanted to mention them anyways because they're bugged and have been for a while. Unless there's supposed to be no music for some reason and I'm just an idiot, but that seems unlikely. Before heading into the final boss, we fuse Clear Mirror Calm Water and head in to face the Wayward Passenger. This time around, we don't have access to a stupidly overpowered one-shot move, so we have to fight him normally. He has the potential to be scary with his Rupture application, but as we are resistant to slash damage, it's a favorable matchup.
미카, 저것들
Thanks to the power of Poise and Lantern, we're able to destroy 3 out of 4 portals before he reappears, and can very easily stagger both of his arms once he does.
아, 완전 과감한 판단이었어요.
중계하듯이 말하지 좀. 확실하니까. 배워냈어요.
그래도 완전 좋은 판단이었던 건 사실이네요.
망설임이 없도록.
쨍그랑 부위가 조각났어.
With that, our absurdly high damage output is more than enough to let us make very quick work of him
적들의
afterwards.
부위가 파괴되었습니다. 치킨으로 말하자면 통닭에서 닭다리 하나가 뜯어내진 꼴이랄까요? 볼품 없어졌다는 뜻이죠.
대성공이야. 가론 신나. 노래 부를까?
망설임이 없도록.
대언했어요. 적이 치명적인 피해를 입었군요. 역시 유능한 자가 마이크를 잡으니
누군가를 베는 건 생각보다 희열이 느껴지는 일이었군요.
And that's how I soloed Mirror Dungeon 4 hard with Blade Lineage Sinclair. He's pretty powerful, but a lot of that can be attributed to the fact that he's a poise identity. I think poise is the most broken status in Mirror Dungeons, as the bonuses they get from ego gifts is by far the best. Anyway, that's it from me today. Like and subscribe to not miss next time where we'll be entering with this unknown individual. Goodbye.